Hello, everybody. I hope you all had a lovely 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And what an amazing season it's been once again. What a spectacle it always was. It was a little bit disappointing. I don't want to ruin it. Okay, I don't want to ruin it. I was hoping for a grandstand finish, a shootout, some last lap drama. It didn't happen, just like most Grand Prix that we see, they don't get settled on the last lap. I mean, obviously they do because you cross the finishing line, and that means that you've achieved the victory by that stage. But what we don't normally get is the last second drama, the manufactured drama at the last minute to excite the kiddies for this popping the cork moment. Oh, the grandstand finish, the building to a crescendo, and exciting the kiddies with that, the grand finale, the grandstand finish that they like to call it. That didn't happen. I mean, essentially, this, like many Formula One races, took the standard form whereby the guy with the fastest car was able to put that fastest car onto pole position and then got a decent enough start and therefore was just able to get away in the lead and therefore go on to win the race. That's generally what Formula One is generally about. And then the team, which is the second fastest car, they generally finish third and fourth, and then the team with the third fastest car, they generally finish fifth and sixth, and so on and so forth. You see, what we've got a little bit different in this generation of Formula One, is the team with the fastest car. They like to present the narrative of them not being very good really as a team. I mean, they're not really. They're not a car manufacturer. They're just like a toxic energy drink manufacturer. But what they like to do is because they're extreme. They're extreme. They're crazy. Is they like to project that, oh, it's not us, it's just that we've got the best thing you've ever seen, and it's just them that can drag us to magnificence of the emperor's new clothes. And so one of their drivers can win in that car, but the other driver finishes nowhere in that car. So that's the narrative that particular team plays here. All right. The other teams go along with it. That's just all part of the show. You create the show, you attract the kiddies to watch the show, and it makes all competitors in the show lots of money. It's lovely. It's lovely. So we've got the one team that wants to project the narrative of their driver just being the generational talent, even though you can't. You could be the generational talent in a shit car, and you won't win. All right. You as a driver can be far better than everybody else, but if you're not in a competitive machine, you won't win. All right. There's the guy, we call him the black guy. He's the one with the brown skin. He's the generational talent. Okay. And he's demonstrated that when he's in a competitive car, he wins. That's the way it works. But when he's not in a competitive car, there's not a lot you can do. Right, and what they also try and do is just fuck him on purpose as well. Again, that's the way this sport works. They don't like him. I don't know why it is. You let me know what you think in the comments section. But this is again the way that this show works. Is the one team? They've not got a fast car. They tell you, but it's Max that can get that car to go really fast, and then the other team that sometimes they're the fastest car. Them two drivers, they just do okay. I mean, them drivers. I mean, Oscar. I don't want to say much about Oscar because Oscar's only been in the sport a short amount of time. Lando, the new world champion, um, up until this season, um, hasn't looked like he was world championship material, has he? Why is it that he's now world champion? Oh, that's because he's in a fast car. The years where his car wasn't fast, he didn't win. Again, that's just the way it works. The other times that the other competitors, whereby they look promising, why aren't they winning? Oh, it's because they're not in a fast car. Why didn't Charles Leclerc win a race this season? Oh, it's because he's in a shit car. Why didn't Lewis Hamilton win this season? Oh, it's because he's in a shit car. Why haven't the Mercedes done that well this season? Oh, that's because they're in a shit car. But that's the way Formula One works. It's really, really exciting. Don't you worry, little head. It's a highly complex technical sport. It's about the clean air, the dirty air, the tyres, the hard compound tyres, the soft compound tyres, the medium compound tyres, the graining, the 25 lap limit on a set of tyres. It's about the tyres. It's about getting the benefit of staying in the DRS behind your teammates so that they can drag you around, so you can stay out of the DRS. So keep fourth place Leclerc out of DRS range of you, so you stay in Oscar's DRS range. But then you don't want to do that because then you're in the dirty air as well. Oh, we don't understand because they're contradictory. But don't you worry, your little head. It's highly complex. Martin here will tell you just how complex this all is. Now, what you will have noticed if you watched the Grand Prix is not a lot, really. Race started, Max went off into the lead and stayed there. And then what you would have seen is Oscar on the slower compound, less grippy compound of tyre on that first lap overtook his teammate, or was it on lap 2, whatever it was, lap 1 or 2. Oscar on the slower tyre overtook his teammate, Lando. Just as you'd expect, with the tyres being less grippy and being able to make it stick around the outside. Then what? Then what? I thought we were going to have a shootout between the two title contenders, or is this a three-way? Oh, we had a three-way. That was exciting for them all. And then what happened there? We just then saw a procession, really, didn't we? Didn't see a lot go on. But what was really exciting was Martin Brundle and David Croft. They were saying, "Oh, is this going to happen? Oh, is that going to happen? Oh, could it be this? Oh, could it be that? Oh, what's going to happen if this happens? Oh, what's going to happen if that?" That's what Formula One is. Okay, that's what it is. So what you actually saw, all right, was Max Verstappen drove his car. The lights went off to start the race. Max Verstappen drove off into the distance. All the other cars followed. Okay, a bit further down the field where the slower cars were, where them slower cars have all got similar levels of performance, and therefore it's all about driver skill and strategies come into play when there's not such a performance differential between the cars. Okay, that's where you show your true levels of driver skill and ability, when you're overtaking machinery that is similar in terms of performance to that of your own. That's when it comes into driver skill. But at the front of the field, where it's all about the one car being faster than the others and so on and so forth, not a lot happens, and it's just a bit of a procession, and it's not that interesting. But what makes it really interesting for the kiddies, what makes it exciting for the kiddies, is Martin here, the expert of the sport, and his chum David Croft. Two fat lads in the white shirts. Okay, what they do, they arouse the children. Okay, they arouse your children. This is what they do. Okay, this is what these people are paid to do, to arouse your children. And they arouse your children by going, "Oh, is it going to be this, kids? Oh, is it going to be that? Oh, what's going to happen now?" Nothing, really. No, nothing's going to happen unless they manufacture it to happen. But they did that a few years ago, and people called it out. They thought they'd get away with it, and they're going to be called out for their fraud, and people aren't letting it lie because we don't like being defrauded. No, we don't like that, Martin. Let's have a listen to Martin's grid walk. Let's have a look at this. This grid walk is where it's described as this one. Martin chats to Thierry Henry, Micah Richards, and Ronaldinho. Now, they're three names you wouldn't really expect to appear in the same kind of bunch of people, would they? I mean, Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho. I mean, when you're talking about greats, for those of you that don't know much about football, when you're talking about the likes of Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho, you're talking about guys that are like a Senna and a Schumacher of the sport of football. We're not talking about like GOAT level, as in Lewis Hamilton level. I mean, Lewis Hamilton level is like Messi, Ronaldo kind of level. Okay, but this is just like the next tier down from that. That we're talking top end of football. Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho were top end without quite being the absolute goats. Okay, but they're still top players, right? Micah Richards, well, he's more like a Karun Chandok, all right. But anyway, we'll listen to what Martin says in the grid walk. Let's have a look, Martin.
Hello. Yeah, Max Verstappen's car being pushed all the way through the middle. Last car.
That's the fastest one, by the way. That's the fastest car. They'll tell you it's not very fast and it's just Supermax that's pedaling it, but that is the fastest car. Even though his teammates isn't. Yeah, they nobble one car to make it look like one's just the best driver you've ever seen, and the other, yeah, he doesn't matter. Okay. Plus, the other teams know that we've cheated all this time, and they'll let us get away with it for the spectacle of the show because we know that the Max Verstappen narrative attracts the kiddies. But they're not going to let us do them in the Constructors' Championship because that's where the money is, and they care about the money side. They just they're happy that the Max narrative increases the money for them all, but when it comes to the prize money awarded by the show, they're not going to allow Red Bull to benefit from that as well. So we'll carry on.
Around me anyway, coming to the grid, all the way to pole position. We've been in that lovely moment, but at the moment, the daylight is dominating, just about dominating the artificial light. Here's the podium above me. And if the world champion is not in the top three, which has happened before.
If the world champion is not in the top three, Martin, well, that would be a bit of an anticlimax, wouldn't it? I thought the world champion. I thought the world championship was always settled by a duel, a last lap shootout. What's the world champion? Is that the person who accumulates the most points over the duration of the season, Martin? Is that who it is? They don't have to win the last race. No, they don't have to do that. No, they don't, do they? But you didn't tell us that before. You made it out as if, oh, what's going to happen now? But now, if the world champion's not in the top three, they'll do something else.
Now, then they'll have a separate podium.
That's nice, Martin. You see, what's the chances of that when the top three in the championship are the only three that can win the championship? What's the chance of all three of them not finishing, Martin? You know, the top three cars on the grid, the top three competitors in the championship, the only three that can be champions. What's the chances of them not finishing in the top three in this race, Martin? And if so, then we'll have a separate podium. Thanks for telling us that, Martin. I mean, it's really important to have the top three, isn't it? I mean, it's really important to do the top three. Let's have a look at something else. Is it this one? Let's have a look at the top three. Because here it is. Because I'm all for the grandstand finish and the climax.
We're going to have one lap of racing to decide the championship in 2021.
It's exciting, isn't it, kiddies? This is what I thought Formula One was about. I thought this year was rubbish compared to this year. This was my favourite year because this was exciting.
Hamilton has the advantage. Verstappen has the...
Remember, Hamilton's got the advantage here, kiddies. Hamilton's got the advantage here.
Faster, fresher tyres, and we have got 3.2 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag.
Now, kiddies, what they didn't tell you, right, is this is sixth place, Lando. You know, your new world champion. Yeah, the new world champion. The best you've ever seen. The generational talent that is Lando Norris, yeah. Him. He's here. He's now in seventh position in this race, but he can't race for sixth. Okay, he can't race for sixth. Martin will soon be telling you in his grid walk that Red Bull are going to try and make sure that the McLaren are racing all 18 cars in this race. But we're not doing that in this race. We've manufactured it so that we're not racing 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. We've left 12th and 13th, blocking off third place in this race, which is rather strange, isn't it? We've got well, first, second, and it's a bit blurry, but third's all the way back here.
As the crowd roar the drivers
But the crowd are excited. They don't understand. They don't know.
on to the final lap of this race, and Verstappen sets after Hamilton. Is it going to be a...
See, it's less blurry now. So there we've got Hamilton, there we've got Verstappen, there's first and second. Where's third? Third's all the way back here, the red dot there. Oh, there's an error. We'll try later. Whilst we're experiencing difficulties with F1 TV, we'll come back to Martin here over at Sky Race Control, doing his grid walk.
Procedure for that a little bit later on. And then four cars in Parc Fermé. Fernando Alonso just left the grid. Will he come into play? I think McLaren are racing 18 cars on this grid tonight.
Martin thinks McLaren are racing 18 cars on this grid. I mean, it used to be that for most cars, Max Verstappen is not their race. Max is not our race. But McLaren are racing 18 cars on the grid. You see, so Red Bull, they're not ever racing 18 cars on the grid. Never will Max race 18 cars on the grid. You see, the most number of cars that Max can ever race on the grid is 16. Okay, 16 cars is the most that Max can ever race against, because his B team are there to protect him, and his backup driver, his second string driver in his own team, they're just there to make Max look magic, like Magic Max. Fernando Alonso, Max is a big fan of Max. Is Fernando? Fernando just doesn't like Lewis, so will do what he needs to do to try and boost Max. That's the way that works. And this latest generation of drivers, yeah, they're that flaccid as characters and individuals. They just comply with the narrative, because they're all young lads that have been groomed into this sport and don't know any different. That's the way the show works. If you say the wrong thing, you don't get your opportunity in the show. This is a coercion.
Because Red Bull will try all sorts of shenanigans to try to destabilise McLaren. They've got...
Yeah, and they did that at the last Grand Prix as well, where Giampiero Lambiase said the sort of things that caused a young teenage lad to then receive death threats. That's the toxic bastards that Red Bull are. They're trying to destabilise everybody, is what Red Bull are trying to do. Yeah, they get their driver to drive erratically down the track to impede their fellow competitor. You know, just like in athletics, you know, when you've got the distance races like the 5,000, the 10,000 meters, and you've generally got the teams such as the group of Kenyan athletes and the group of Ethiopian athletes who are generally better at the distance running than a lot of other nations of the world. And what you get from them teams is you get their athletes weaving in front of everybody else to block them all back, to hold back the other runners while their teammate gets to run off into the distance. That's what you see with racing, isn't it? If you're real racers, that's what you love seeing, isn't it? Real racers, you real men with your big fucking hairy sacks. Real men, there you are, with your racing chair at home, sat there on your computer fucking joystick with your computer, wanking away on your computer. You lot, you're real men. Yeah, love your sport, you do, don't you? That's what you think sport is, don't you? No, you don't see that, because real men, real athletes, okay, they overcome their fellow competitors without having to do that. They don't need their team to be dirty cunts, do they? No, they don't. Okay, but you're real racers with racing in your blood. Yeah, you think that that's what it's all about because that's what you've been conditioned to believe, isn't it? No, this is just the cunt show that is Formula One. So, oh, but they're all cool, aren't they? All the people on the grid walk. Oh, look at all these people. Yeah.
They've got to try and bring all these other cars into play, like Charles Leclerc there in that glorious looking Ferrari, fifth on the grid. That's and you know, if
Yes, a glorious Ferrari fifth on the grid. Now, let's go back and see what the glorious Ferrari was doing when it was third, but not allowed to compete. Let's have a look what was going on. We had to rewind it a bit.
Verstappen has the faster, fresher tyres, and we have got 3 points.
But surely he's in the dirty air, and then tyres will be no good. And there's no DRS, or is the DRS? There's no DRS. Oh, but he's not allowed to weave. Is he allowed to weave? We don't know. It's Formula One. It's a crescendo. It's a last lap shootout. It's a grandstand finish, everybody.
2 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag as the crowd.
See, a Grand Prix is about 200 miles. But no, what we're going to do is we're going to excite the kiddies with we're going to run a marathon, everybody. You know I talked about the Ethiopians and the Kenyans. They're good at them as well. All right. And we're going to run a marathon, and the Ethiopians and the Kenyans, they're going to be beating everybody by about half an hour. All right. And then but about 100 meters before the finish, we're going to stop them there. All right. And then we're going to wait for everybody else to catch up. We're going to allow some of them that have caught up to have some energy drinks and put on a new pair of trainers. And then what we're going to do, we're going to decide the marathon with a 100-meter sprint to the finish to tell you all who's the best marathon runner in the world, everybody. The best marathon runner in the world. And it turned out it was Usain Bolt. But, don't you worry, little heads, about that.
Roar the drivers on to the final lap of this race, and Verstappen sets after Hamilton. Is it going to be a first World Championship for Verstappen? Is it going to be an 8th World Championship for Lewis Hamilton? Where can Verstappen try and get past Hamilton? First overtaking zone is normally down into turn 5.
Oh, it's exciting. Now let me I don't want to get too excited, because when I get excited, I start getting too excited. So let's just check. Let's look at the documents. Okay, sorry, I know the kiddies here won't be interested in the documents. They want to see the cars, the fast cars, because they've got motor racing in their blood. All right, but let's just have a read of the documents here. This is from this year's race. This is the 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. What's going on here? This is driver number 30, Liam Lawson. Car 30 drove erratically when defending its position against car 87, which is a breach of Appendix L, Chapter 4, Article 2E of the International Sporting Code. A 5-second time penalty. What is Appendix L, Chapter 4, Article 2E of the International Sporting Code? I've never heard of that. I thought it was only the driver standard guidelines, everybody. That all of the drivers, all these young lads that don't know what the fuck that they're doing, they're just happy to be there. They've achieved their lifelong ambition of being allowed their position in the show. We're going to make these guidelines, everybody, that Max Verstappen is the expert of, and you just nod your heads, drivers. Yes, you all know that these are the guidelines, and we're not going to go by the rules, the breach of Appendix L, Chapter 4, Article 2E of the International Sporting Code. We're going to forget that they exist, and we're just going to instead pretend that there's some guidelines that you've all agreed to. Yes, Max is the expert of the guidelines. We're back to the rules, okay? 5-second time penalty, 1 penalty point, and the stewards reviewed video, including in-car video evidence. This is the new VAR that's available to them, the ability to use video evidence to assist them in their adjudicating decisions. Who would have thought that they would have had the use of technology at their disposal since the 70s and 80s. But that was a new thing that was proposed after 2021 to improve the show, everybody. So anyway, car 30 made several erratic moves between turns 8 and 9 as car 87 was approaching. Competitors are reminding that they have the right to appeal. Now, the decisions, this is an FIA document, right? These are FIA stewards because the FIA appoint these. They're not just members of the St John's ambulance that turned up just to be helpful. Okay, these are the stewards that have been appointed by the FIA. But the decisions of the stewards are independently of the FIA and based solely on the relevant regulations. What the fuck are you talking about? They're your stewards that have made decisions by having to apply your regulations. So they're your regulations, the FIA, as the governing body. They're your stewards, and yet you're saying, oh, any decisions they make are independent of the FIA. No, they're not independent. They're entirely dependent. They're people you selected to make decisions based on your criteria. There's nothing independent about that. Gaslighting fucks. But that's legal. That's the way that they think that they can gaslight the fuck out of everybody with the law, everybody. But let's just go back to, let's not worry about that bit for now. That's to come. What was the problem? Car 30 made several erratic moves between turns 8 and 9 and got a 5-second penalty. And what car was that? That was Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson, that's in the Red Bull B team. Red Bull B team making dirty moves. Okay. Red Bull A team, what's going on here? Car 22. The fact. Car 22 made more than one change of direction to defend its position, which is a breach of Appendix L, Chapter 4, Article 2B of the International Sporting Code. Nothing to do with the guidelines that Max Verstappen is the expert of everybody. He also got a 5-second time penalty. The stewards reviewed video, team radio, and team radio. What were they telling him on the team radio, everybody? And in-car video evidence. Car 4 was making an overtaking move on car 22. Car 22 made a number of changes of direction, which ultimately resulted in car 4 having to go off track to avoid a collision. Oh yeah, another car puts its car in a position where you have to leave the track to avoid being hit. I remember lap 1 of Abu Dhabi 2021 where a certain Red Bull car put its car in a position where the other car had to leave the track to prevent itself from being hit. Oh, he's got to give that place back. Right, that one. Remember that one? I do. In doing so, car 22 also effectively forced car 4 off the track. That's called crowding off the track. So it's driving erratically and it's crowding off the track. That's 2 infringements, okay? Why have you only just given him a 5-second penalty? Minimum penalty should be a 10-second penalty. That should also apply for the first driver, Liam Lawson. Only reduced to 5 if there are mitigating circumstances. This was not mitigating circumstances. This was actually the opposite of that. There was no excuse for it. In fact, this was totally malicious. This is what should result in an additional penalty because there was clear motive, clear intent behind what he was doing. So, competitors are reminded they've got a right to appeal, and the decisions of the stewards are also, again, bullshitly taken independently of the FIA. This is Gary Connolly and Derek Warwick. Now, Gary Connolly and Derek Warwick, and also this lad here, Mohammed Al Hashmi, they were also the same stewards at Abu Dhabi 2021. That's twice at Abu Dhabi 2025. They've identified that cars changing direction when it's not allowed to. Did anything else happen at 2025? Oliver Bearman. What did Oliver do at Abu Dhabi 2025? He also made more than one change of direction to defend a position, which is a breach of Appendix L, Chapter 4, Article 2B of the International Sporting Code. He also got a 5-second time penalty and a penalty point on his licence. The stewards reviewed video and in-car video evidence. Oh, they didn't review his radio, so it wasn't his team. The toxic motherfuckers were telling him to do that. Okay. Car 87 was defending its position against car 18 on the straight prior to turn 9 and made multiple moves to change direction. This is a breach of the regulations. This is what Connolly, Warwick, and Al Hashmi know. Now, what's the other document here? Lance Stroll. What was problem with Lance Stroll? Car 18 made more than one change of direction to defend its position, which is a breach of Appendix L, Chapter 4, Article 2B of the International Sporting Code. 5-second time penalty, 1 penalty point on his license. The stewards reviewed video and in-car video evidence, not his team radio. Didn't have to review the team radio because, again, Liam Lawson, they didn't review they just reviewed his video and in-car video evidence. And likewise here with, who's this one? Bearman, the video and in-car video evidence. And we're through here to Lance Stroll, reviewed the video and in-car video evidence. But when we talk about the actual toxic Red Bull team, we've reviewed the team radio as well. Yeah. But car 18 made multiple moves in defending against car 55 on the straight before turn 9. And this is a breach of the regulations. And you get a 5-second penalty. Gary Connolly, Derek Warwick, and Mohammed Al Hashmi know all about that. They've given out 4 of those penalties this race. But we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be giving out penalties that can alter the direction of the championship, should we? We really shouldn't. Now, I don't know about you, but I saw a few changes of direction down there. Let's have a look. Oh, nearly caused a collision there. Winning! Somebody's turning in, and look at Lewis Hamilton's steering wheel. Let's just focus on his steering wheel. You know what he's doing. See this here. This is called curbing. This left on his left-hand side, left-hand turn. Okay, let's look at Lewis's steering wheel. Oops, what's going on there? Has it crashed me out again? 2 seconds. Let's try it again. Here he is. He's trying to do the left-hand turn. I'm trying to get you to see what's going on. Look at his steering wheel. Look at his angle of his steering wheel. That's where he's locking it over to the left to take a left-hand turn. Oops! He's had to steer all the way right to take evasive action for a car that sent it up the inside. That's erratic driving, isn't it? Of somebody causing Lewis Hamilton to have to take evasive action. 2, 3, 4. That's called weaving down a straight. Is that the same as doing this? Driving erratically when defending a position. 5-second penalty. Is that the same as this one? Made more than one change of direction to defend its position. Made more than one change of direction to defend position. What's this one? Made more than one change of direction to defend its position. Nothing to see in 2021. They broke the rules of the sport to manufacture the last lap shootout, you know. They ignored that Max overtook under safety car. They ignored the breach of that, but it was exciting for the kids. And he absolutely deserved it because he had no luck all year. No luck all year. So, it was a bit of an anti-climax, this particular year's Grand Prix. I mean, no grandstand finish, No, last lap shootout. Yeah, but they did manage to achieve what one of the things that they wanted to achieve, and that was they made the championship go down to the last race of the season to get the audience of what will it be, 100 million people to watch it. Because had they have allowed McLaren to win this by, not disqualifying them a couple of races ago, by McLaren, um, taking what would be the correct pit stop strategy at the last race instead of gifting the race to Max Verstappen and Red Bull, playing their part to make it a three-way in the last race to excite the kiddies for the last race. McLaren were in on that to make sure we get a big audience at the last race of the season, because that's lucrative for everybody, lucrative for the owners as well of the McLaren team, are based over in those in that region of the world, that region of the world where they hold us all to ransom for the price of the oil that we rely on. Yeah, so this is fine. You just don't you worry little heads about that. We want you to manufacture it so that it goes down to the last race of the season, so we make lots of money out of this. And everybody's excited by it. Hope you all had a lovely time. Martin was doing his grid walk, telling everybody how great it was, how exciting the show of Formula One is, and everybody's just happy to be there.
Somehow,
Bet365 are putting the power in you.
And you can bet on it as well. Yeah, you can bet on this show if you want to. Yeah, it's not a case of studying the form and making an authentic sports bet, because when they contrive it, you don't really know what it is you're betting on. But don't you worry about that as well.
somehow, McLaren have got to get control of this race. Let me see if I can talk to Anna.
Not really, Martin. Not really, because for Lando Norris, really, is their only realistic chance of winning the championship. All he just needs to do is finish third. So it's not, you don't really need to be in control of the race, really, because all you've got to do is be in control of finishing third. And there's multiple ways of doing that. I mean, what you can do is you can put Lando Norris in second position, and you can have Oscar Piastri just driving slightly off the pace and allowing Lando Norris to create a lead that puts him in space, but then you risk exposing him to Max Verstappen's dirty driving tactics, but then that risks Max Verstappen taking himself out of the race as well, doesn't it? So realistically, all you've got to do is make sure you finish in the top three, and you can use your other driver to help him with that. And when you're in the second fastest car and the first fastest car, well, they don't have a teammate in a fast car, then effectively your car is the second and third fastest car on that grid, and all you've got to do with that car is finish in the top three. It's not that hard. Okay, it's not that hard, but you need to build it up for the kiddies and tell the kids just how exciting it all is, and is this going to happen, and is that going to happen, and could it be this, and could it be that. What I will do is I'll actually take you through some of the commentary. I've recorded all the audio from Brundle and Crofty at the Grand Prix, along with the team interjections as well, because McLaren are clearly playing their part in the show, and we'll go through some of that. Thankfully, the season's over. This shit show will carry on, because that's what they do. This is how this show is manipulated to excite the smooth brains, and until something's done about it, they'll continue doing that. It's highly lucrative for them. Clearly, their audiences continue to grow. They continue to make more money. As people wake up to it, people will switch off and say this is just bullshit. I'm not willing to tolerate this bullshit. But people aren't yet doing that. And that won't happen until we take some actual action. So that will be to come during the close season. So stick with the channel because there is going to be action taking place, which you will see. So I'm gonna call it a day on this particular video. I'm going to do some follow-up videos with a little bit more analysis on what actually took place in the Grand Prix and expose some of the bullshit narrative that we were fed in commentary and how that bullshit narrative is completely different to the other things that they talk about. See, when you're authentic, things are consistent. You can say the same things all the time because they hold true. And what happens in Formula One? Oh, well, at this event it's this, but at this event it's something else. It's all contradictory because it's all a construct. Anyway, that does do on this one. Thank you for your time, and I will be back later. Cheers.